Hello, this is my rehearsal blog for the current rehearsal stage of How to Be Well in a World That Is Sick, which is a solo show I'm currently making. And I've said that I'll make like a little video blog at the egg. I am tired. At the end of each rehearsal. So this is my first video diary entry. It's quite a funny feeling because I don't know who I'm talking to. I could be talking to myself and only myself, or maybe people will watch this, in which case I will be talking to you. So day one, I came in with a little bit of a plan. There's a part of the show that's probably going to have like a kind of characterization or personification of society, and they are going to be like a character that's kind of embodying the narratives or the social norms or ideas that the sort of general veil of society can give to us, either through education or through our families or through culture or through religion. So my plan was to come in and kind of work on that character, and I did a bit of that, but then I realized that my body was kind of wanted to go somewhere else. So this is quite common for me when I'm making and creating, that I'll start off with like a plan and then I'll completely deviate from it and end up somewhere totally different, which is one of the joys of a creative process. So I actually then ended up doing some kind of like physical embodiment dance stuff quite early in the day. Made a rookie mistake of not warming up enough, and I have pulled a muscle in my shoulder, so that's not ideal. I'm gonna need to take a bath this evening and go a little bit more gently with my shoulders yesterday. And annoyingly, I didn't film that bit, so I was like documenting everything all day, and the bit that I was really excited about, that I sort of created with this repetitive movement, the bit that pulled my shoulder, didn't get filmed. So that's a little bit frustrating, but it's fine. I can do it again when my shoulder is feeling better. And then I had a couple of kind of physical sessions. I did a little bit of stuff on this personification of the society character, but I couldn't quite find that voice today. So I just kind of documented some stuff. One of the ways that I work is to just it kind of feels like vomiting. Like I just get loads of stuff out, and then in the process of that, there'll be like a little nugget or grain in there that feels like gold, and then I'll go back to that and take it and develop it some more. So today there was a lot of vomiting. I did a lot of like rough takes of things, and none of them are even remotely right yet, because it's the beginning. But it's like the beginning of that process of starting to find like what those voices might be and what they might be saying, and what body language that character might be bringing. Because there's kind of a mixture in the show of like a moment where there's some kind of characterization, and then there are moments where I'm sharing personal stories, either my own or other people's that I've worked with. So it kind of bounces between different places. So I also did a little bit of recording today of speaking about experiences of sexual violence and sexual abuse and domestic violence, and recording some of the sharings of those stories or experiences, either of my own or of people that I've been working with, or people that have shared them with me, with their consent, of course. And that was interesting, because I was like, I don't know how this is going to feel to kind of read these directly, and I was interested to sort of find out like how that was going to feel for me as a performer, speaking some of these things, because some of them are very personal, some of them are very descriptive, some of them are uncomfortable, and I think that's a real thing that's going to be a part of this process in terms of the rehearsals, but also the making of the show. This is a big subject matter, talking about sexual violence, talking about sexual abuse, talking about domestic violence. It's uncomfortable, and people don't generally want to look at it, and people don't generally want to hear about it, because it's painful and it's difficult and it's confronting. And so this show is kind of bringing all of that like out into the open. So there's going to be lots of explorations of like where those edges are and what's too much, what's too uncomfortable and what might be too triggering, and what's just enough, this kind of balance of like, how can we bring this stuff to the forefront and to a space where we can talk about it and be direct and be frank and not hide it, but we don't want to go too far and disassociate people or lose people, because that's something that can happen if we're faced with something that's too much. We can shut down. So it's a real edge that I'm going to be exploring the next 2 weeks while I'm making this next version and as the project goes on. And the show is also about mental health. So I slept very badly last night. I suffer from insomnia quite regularly, and so it's a really good process for me today to remind myself to keep my mental health and my well-being like at the forefront of what I'm doing, which didn't go so well with the shoulder. But after I did like an hour's work this morning, I was like, actually, I'm really tired. I'm really, really tired. And I just gave myself permission to lie down on the middle of the rehearsal floor and just had a nap for half an hour, which was great, and really helped. And yeah, that's a big part of the show as well, of like, how can we give ourselves permission to do those things that we need to do, especially if those things kind of go against the like social norm. So there's a part of me that's like, oh, you can't lie down on the floor and have a nap in your rehearsals, you're supposed to be working. And I've had to work really hard as an artist and a maker to like make space for that and be like, no, I can lie down on the floor and have a nap, and that's exactly what I need to do, and so I'm going to do it. And then it's great because it gave me enough energy to keep going for the rest of the day. I took myself out for a walk at lunchtime and watched the snow, which was nice, although kind of crazy because it's been sunny. And then I've come back this afternoon and done a little bit more kind of physical stuff, and that's going to be it for today. So I'm at this kind of exciting point where I've just put stuff out there today, and I've made, I think I've got 16 short videos that I've made today, and at some point I'll go through them and see what I maybe want to take out of those. But the most of this week is just going to be about like generating and not judging any of it and not thinking too much about, oh, is that what I want? Is it not what I want? Just like getting it flowing and putting it out there. And then I can kind of sit down and look at it all and be like, oh, right, yeah, this is something that I want to pursue, or this feels really exciting, or this feels important. But it's hard sometimes. I can feel the part of my head that wants to like organize and plan, be like, but what are you going to do with that bit? So yeah, there's always a bit of an internal sort of tug of war that happens with me in the rehearsal process, because I'm a maker. I create my own work and I write and I perform, but I'm also a director. And so my director's head is like, ooh, what are we going to do with this? Where's it going to go? And is kind of thinking from like a bigger perspective kind of viewpoint. And then my dancer's body or my artist's kind of head is just creating and is like, oh, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if we use it or not. Let's make it and enjoy it. So that's always like an interesting kind of, it's not necessarily a tug of war, but it's an interesting inner conflict sometimes, or like a little relationship to navigate within me of like, okay, like this week is for this, and then you're going to get your time to like structure things next week. But I'm feeling good. I'm feeling excited. I'm gonna rest my shoulder tonight, and I'm looking forward to seeing what happens tomorrow. Maybe see some of you then. Okay, signing out for the day. Bye.